At Andy Herman, NFL on Twitter, the Pack a Day podcast, and a victory Monday that doesn't feel like it, even though it should, but it feels unconvincing. So, Andy, is this just how it's going to be? Like, we can't ever be super duper happy with how things went because we did win, last I checked.
Well, we talked about it last week. First of all, thanks for having me. We talked about it last week. You know, in order for fans to be happy in this one, it was going to take about like a 17, 20-point victory for happiness, for true happiness. A win's a win, especially with the way that Green Bay came off 2 consecutive losses. So they needed this one. It felt like a struggling shooter that just needed to see a layup or a free throw go through the hoop to hopefully, get them going moving forward. This felt like that. It's like, hey, it's a free throw. We're not going to celebrate the free throw too much. You didn't, 360 windmill over Giannis. We're not, doing something crazy here, but we'll take the made free throw at this point in time. But yeah, I did not deem today helmet worthy. In fact, I had it, but I actually dropped it on the way over, which I felt like was appropriate for the way that the Packers. No, I'll take the win. I'll put it that way.
So it's a win, and yet you brought it up. There's a lot of opportunities, and it starts and ends with these drops, although one could argue it was because of the offensive line and Jordan was rushed and maybe they weren't running the routes. Like, there's a lot of opportunity in yesterday's game, but the one that was most clear to any Tom, Dick, and Harry watching the game was the dropsies.
Yeah, so I went through and I listed the errors / mistakes for Green Bay throughout the course of the game. All right. Do you guys have a good 45 minutes?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we got all the time you need.
Carrington Valentine dropped interception. Luke Musgrave fumble out of bounds. Romeo Doubs drop on 3rd down. Carrington Valentine dropped interception. Fitzpatrick drop. Rasheed Walker holding penalty. Missed extra point. Holding penalty on a punt return. Romeo Doubs dropped. Dontavian Wicks drop. Edgerrin Cooper missed tackle on 3rd and 15 that led to a 1st down. Somehow Jameis Winston stumbles a quarterback sneak for 10 yards. Isaiah McDuffie pass interference penalty. Bad snap that leads to Jordan Love throwing awkwardly to Luke Musgrave, who then drops / fumbles, but thankfully only drops the pass. Missed extra point. Watson drop on 3rd down. Isaiah McDuffie truck sticks Javon Bullard into a dropped interception. Keyshawn Nixon dropped interception, or maybe tipped away at the very end by Xavier McKinney. Either way, opportunity for a pick that went unpicked off. Face mask by Colby Wooden. Romeo Doubs drop. Josh Wiley holding penalty, and then a kick into the end zone at the end of the game that brought the ball to the 35 rather than making them return it and hopefully holding them under the 30-yard line. Other than that, they played great, though.
Yeah, Andy, I've kind of been accused of being a little bit of a negative Nancy today on the airwaves. Not me, of course. But which one of those stands out as this needs to get fixed first? Got to start here, or this is the biggest, most occurring problem with this Green Bay Packer team that you just read off. Which one stands out the most to you?
Okay, this is a cop-out, so my apologies for this. The fact that all of these things are nothing that are particularly new, that they're all self-inflicted wounds, that they're all mistakes, whether it's drops, pre-snap penalties, penalties in the heat of the moment, missed, it's like special teams errors. Like, this is stuff that's been going on for, well past this year. If this stuff happens week 3 against the Browns, not, 50 of these in one game, but if decent, some of this stuff happens week 3 against the Browns, all right, you get a little bit of accident forgiveness. It's early in the season. It's still frustrating as heck. But the fact that all of these things are nothing new going back a year or two, the fact that these are nothing new, certainly this year, and that these sort of errors continue to happen. I looked at it from a coaching standpoint in 2 ways in this game. I thought Jeff Hafley and Matt LaFleur consistently in this game put their players in positions to be successful. I mean, all the catches, drops, interception opportunities, etc. Players were consistently in positions to be successful in this game. That is sort of coaching 101. Can you put your players in a position to be successful? I thought both of them did phenomenal in that regard. At the same time, from a head coaching standpoint, and I know some people are going to say that I'm a late adopter to this, that's okay, but I do think it's starting to be more fair to question the fact of, like, can this coaching staff coach these type of mistakes out of this group of players? Because again, we've seen it for so long now. And it just is a lack of discipline. It's a lack of being able to go into games and not make these same mistakes over and over again. And we haven't seen the general and overall improvement from that standpoint for some period of time now.
Yeah, they're young, but they've been young for 3 years under the same system and the same coaches for the most part. It's
Correct.
time to figure it out. Andy Herman, the Pack a Day podcast on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. So are we saying there's a chance? Because we did really squander a lot of opportunities yesterday, and maybe that's the part that hurts the worst about this Packers team, is that holy hell, imagine we put together a game where we don't have that laundry list of mistakes. Now I think we're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. And I think, but that's what we've sort of been waiting for. Detroit was, I think, a little bit of proof of concept in that first game of what that can look like. And again, I think a lot of people, myself included at times, are still viewing it through that lens of like, hey, we've seen this. We know what it can look like, but you're not doing it with any level of consistency whatsoever. And there's, I think that constant talking point of, are they playing down to their competition? We haven't seen this team just sort of easily beat a team again, at least again, since maybe Detroit. But yeah, if all of a sudden, listen, if all those errors that I read off, if just the catches took place on offense and defense, if they just caught the ball, that's like a 40-13 game. That's like a 40-13 game just on catches alone. Don't even miss extra points and penalties and all the other stuff. Keep that even stuff in there. Just catching the ball, and that thing's a boat race of the New York Giants, and they couldn't do it on either side of the ball. And I think that again it just leaves you. This team is the consistent, just leaving you wanting a little bit more, sometimes a lot of bit more, coming off of pretty much every single game.
Was boat race another pun there with the Giants too? I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Deep cut.
Okay.
Deep cut.
Andy, I'm going to ask the first positive question to get out ahead of Trevor on this one.
Love it.
Christian Watson, could we have expected virtually anything better than what he has given so far in his return from the ACL injury? And are you ready to see an offense that establishes him as, hey, he's our number one option now that Tucker Kraft is out?
Yes and yes. I mean, there's no way that this team right now, I don't know where they're at if they don't have him. If he gets back 3 weeks later from the injury, or if he comes back the last few weeks and is like 50% of Christian Watson. I guess they lost 2 of the 3 anyway, but I mean, they don't win that game yesterday without Christian Watson in that game. So he's been phenomenal. I cannot say enough about his ability not only to come back, but this is like the best version of Christian Watson we've seen. And it's coming off immediately a torn ACL, MCL, etc. I mean, the work that he put in, I don't know what, black magic, voodoo, whatever that he used to get that thing right. He looks fantastic. And all the credit to him for all the hard work, sweat, time, effort, and energy that he put in. And then, what was part 2? I already forgot it because I was so excited about Christian.
Number one option.
Feature him. Yeah, 1,000,000%. And part of me is disappointed / sad because I really wanted to see this offense with Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, and Josh Jacobs. And we will never get the opportunity in this particular season to see that. We'll have to wait till next year. But eventually we should be able to see Watson, Reed, and Jacobs and Golden all together on the field. And I think that has the ability to be an extremely potent offense. But right now, 1A on that list for everything needs to be Christian Watson.
And we talked about it earlier. I would appreciate a different celebration than a stanky leg of some kind that bends your knees in all sorts of different ways. Like, buddy, chill. We're good.
He's just showing off at this point. He's like, how good my knee is? Like, I will stanky leg all over the place. I will play on the Jets concrete in Giants concrete stadium with my bad knee, and it's still not going to be an issue. I'm still going to leap all over you and catch crazy passes. Like, he's just showing off at this point.
Yeah, he's going to raise you one next week, Trevor. Be careful. If
backflip.
I see Christian, oh God, I'll lose it. I'll lose my mind if that happens.
He can do it, right? He can do a backflip.
I'm sure he can, and I don't want him to prove it at all. I have zero interest in seeing if he can do any backflip. Andy Herman, Pack a Day podcast, joining us here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Tommy Wirtz in for Josh Albrecht, Trevor Thomas, of course, here as well. Andy, okay, I'm going to go back to being Tommy now here. Are you ready to say hey, Rashan Gary, where the hell you been? And Tommy was like, just starting to be like, okay, hey, this guy, maybe he's something, but all of a sudden he's MIA every week now here too. And Micah Parsons can't do it every single play. We've seen that. He can make big plays, but he needs a little bit of help. And I'm concerned that this Lucas Van Ness injury was much bigger in hindsight now. And the front four really is just like a front one, and it's really just number one.
It has felt that way, certainly as of late, that it's Micah or bust, and that they just can't get home with the other group. Disappointing. Let's state two things at the same time. Number one, Rashan Gary is not playing bad football. He is playing solid in run defense. He's being a more than serviceable player. Like he's a good football player. At the same time, for your expectations for him, going in just, a week before the season, he's expected to be your number one edge rusher. Now you get Micah Parsons and you're going to take all of that pressure off of him. Now, it's not like he's never getting double teamed or chipped or things like that. That has still happened from time to time, but he takes, Micah takes the lion's share of the pressure and all the double teams and triple teams, leaving Rashan one-on-one on a lot of different occasions. And your expectation is that he is going to be more of a game wrecker. And that just has not happened at all. He has no sacks in his last 3 games, and they need him to be that game-changing defensive end. Tommy, you've been spot on this one. They need more from him. I think LVN coming back will hopefully help a ton, because this defensive line hasn't quite looked the same without him. I think still their best 4-man pass rush unit is with LVN, Wyatt, Rashan Gary, and Micah Parsons all on the field together. We obviously haven't been able to see that with LVN out. But man, Rashan Gary, just again, his contribution needs to be a little bit more. Also, I don't know if we'll see this week if he pops up on the injury report with something. Rashan Gary and Kingsley Enagbare, per Justice Mosqueda, who charted the game, played the exact same amount of snaps in this game. Rashan Gary came out of this game quite a bit, took a lot of what seemed like sort of rest snaps. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. But if you're going to do that, you had better come in fresh and powerful and causing a lot of disruption. Right now, he's not playing like that 50 snap, type of game. And he's staying pretty fresh. And when he's coming in, he's not coming in and making that huge impact. This team needs more from Rashan Gary.
It's getting everything it could possibly need from Malik Willis when called upon. I asked the question earlier. It annoys the living you-know-what out of Tommy. But do we have a Taysom Hill situation here with a guy that could actually impact the game on an every so often basis?
Okay. I'm more with Tommy on this one.
I already love where this is going, Andy. Hey, yes,
this isn't necessarily my opinion. There's just a lot of people asking about it. No, and there was a lot of praise for Malik Willis after the game yesterday.
Matt LaFleur got asked about it as well. Pete Doherty, I think, asked the question, and I love Pete.
Which question are you talking about, Andy? It was the first 4 minutes. It was all Malik Willis stuff.
Now is where you're seeing.
Yeah, I think wherever it was. I know it was. He asked specifically about this of, can you put a sort of Malik Willis package in the game? Matt LaFleur said something to the effect of, they have, if you remember against Chicago last year, they ran a play. Jordan Love's out at receiver. Malik Willis comes in as that quarterback, and they do some Wildcat stuff. I don't think anything major happened on that play, if I remember correctly. But so here's where I'm at. I think in general, I mean, especially the way Jordan Love played yesterday. And just the way he's playing in general, you do not want to take him off the field. He's been fantastic. He's been phenomenal. Do I think that a running game that is struggling the way that it is has a little bit more of an opportunity simply because Malik Willis adds an extra number to the equation, where now teams have to account for his rushing ability on the field? It changes the numbers dynamics for a team that's rushing the ball so poorly already, that now his ability to keep and run for 16 yards at a time changes that dynamic a little bit and can maybe help the run game a little bit. I do think that is a true statement, that it does help that a little bit. Do I think it's probably worth taking Jordan off the field? I don't think so, but here's what I will say to placate some that would like to see a little bit more Malik Willis. In a game like Philly, for example, a couple weeks ago, where nothing on offense is clicking, where you just nothing in the passing offense, nothing in the running offense, you just can't get anything going. You do have that as hey, it's a change of pace And I'm not talking about for a drive. I'm not talking about for a quarter. I'm talking about like, can you run 2 or 3 plays back to back to back? That is like a read option for Willis and then like a play action off of it. And then maybe just a run play where you're going to show them 3 very unique looks where you don't know what you're going to get from it. And you let Malik Willis play those 3 plays. Sure. I think there's probably something like that you can do. I think if you went to Jordan Love and said, hey, we've got a 3-play package from Malik Willis that we think can be very successful in a certain situation. Are you going to be okay if we take you out for those 3 plays where you're likely just going to hand off the ball in those situations anyway? I think of all quarterbacks, Jordan is confident enough to say like, yeah, of course, if you want to run 3 plays with Malik Willis, go for it. Do I think that this is some sort of earth-shattering, game-changing thing? No. Would I probably do it? No, because as soon as it goes wrong too, everyone's like, what does Matt LaFleur do? Why is he getting so cute? Just keep Jordan Love in the game. I probably just go with Jordan, but do I think you could use it in a unique scenario as a change of pace if your offense is struggling for a few plays? Sure, go for it. Have fun.
I think you can do that without causing a quarterback controversy.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yes. The controversy? Don't even put Malik Willis and controversy in the same sentence, Trevor.
I didn't start it. Somebody was already on Twitter yesterday going, if Malik Willis comes down and does what he did yesterday and gets the offense humming, does Matt LaFleur have a decision to make? I mean, that was the conversation online yesterday.
Andy, it was the best 6 plays of all time. It was just literally, I can't believe it. I can't believe what's going on. I think Malik Willis does his job. I think he's damn good at his job. I think he's the best in the league at his job of backup quarterback. That's what I think. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think you're totally in the right spot. And I think if anything, from a quarterbacking standpoint, if what we should be talking about is how phenomenal Jordan was in willing his team, in my opinion, to victory in that second half, despite all the drops and all the stuff going on around him. Just would not let the team lose. I thought he was tremendous. I know the box score is not going to look like it, but when you have 7 drops on offense, that's a huge reason why. Jordan was fantastic in that game. It was one of my favorite performances of his, just from going down with the injury, coming back, and then again that 3rd and 10 to Savion Williams. That is potentially like a season-altering, season-saving play. And for Jordan in the wind to buy time and then throw that pass where only Savion could go up and get it, and of course, huge play by Savion Williams as well. I thought he was unbelievable in that game, and again showed you why you want Jordan Love on the field, despite how fantastic that Malik Willis was given that opportunity on that drive. And I'm with Tommy. I think it's certainly in the argument for best backup quarterback in the league. There's still a gap, a very sizable gap between Jordan Love and Malik Willis as a starting quarterback in this league.
Last one, Andy, before we let you go. 4 out of the next 5 games for the Packers are division rivals. Vikings, Lions, Bears. 1 game, Bears. 4 out of the next 5. And, oh, yeah, that game that's not a division rival is against the 9-2 Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Things don't get easier for the Packers from here. They get significantly harder, or maybe the need to be significantly more dialed in. Yet, the whole conversation, especially the way Jordan Love played, is this team is right there. I mean, it feels like they're right there, but some of these major mental mistakes are keeping them from staying right there. So if there's some things that they get to work on this week that's going to help them remain right there, what are they?
Yeah, I still think the offensive line needs to continue, to try to improve. I thought there were moments yesterday they looked better, but that Giants run defense is really bad, and it's not like they completely tore through them. Although Josh Jacobs being hurt certainly didn't help that in any way, shape, or form. But I still think that the pass protection and run blocking up front, getting on the jugs machine probably helps a little bit this week. A little bit of that, concentration on both sides, both offense and on defense. And yeah, it's the attention to detail stuff. It's making sure they didn't have any, I don't think, alignment penalties yesterday, but it's all of the little things that end up resulting when you have, 20, 25 little things that end up resulting in a huge thing. The kicker thing is going to have to get sorted out as well. Some of it was obviously wind yesterday. I don't know that all of it was wind. So I just think it's getting the little things cleaned up. And the schedule is interesting. Minnesota's a really bad football team. They're annoying. They're pesky, but they're not good. JJ McCarthy is rough right now. So you've got that game coming up at home. They're favored by, I think, 6 points to start off early in that game. The final game against Minnesota, in all likelihood, Minnesota will have absolutely nothing to play for in that game and will, basically be like an exhibition game for them. You've got to find a way to win those two. Obviously Chicago's playing better football. You've got to figure out a way, in my opinion, to at minimum split against Chicago, whether it's a home and away. That gets you to 3-1 if you can beat Minnesota twice and beat Chicago. And then you've got the three really tough games, in my opinion: Detroit on the road, Denver on the road, Baltimore at home. And how they do specifically in those three games is going to go a long way. Because the 3 wins, if you get 3 of those 4 that I mentioned, gets you to 9-4-1. 3 losses in those tough games, 9-7-1. Well, I don't think 3 wins is probably super likely, but 12-4-1 if you get those 3 wins. But there's a huge gap there from playoff seeding to maybe even getting in the playoffs, dependent upon how you really do in those 3 very difficult games.
And that's the way it's felt all year long. So why not just keep that train moving?
Yeah, fair enough.
Andy Herman at Andy Herman NFL on Twitter, the host of the Pack a Day podcast. We talk to him every Monday and every Friday, which means we'll chat with you on Friday, man. Good to see you.
Hey, can't wait. Thanks so much. Enjoy Victory Monday.
Amen. Andy Herman on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. What's Up Wisconsin is next. Moving on, what else do we get to look forward to today, tonight, and the week ahead? It's Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.